The latest new details from Michigan today in the search for Dee Warner. She has been missing now for quite some time, and throughout this week we've been following the active search that has been underway on what we now know is her former property. Sean Haggerty is up there in Lenawee County. Sean, we just had you on Action News at noon. For those of you who at home may have not been able to see Sean's report, get us caught up to speed on what you've been seeing today, because things have really developed there at that search site over the last 15 or 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, they really have. We've been up here for most of the morning, and I want to give you a live look at what's happening. Dee Warner disappearing in 2021. This is the property of Dee and Dale Warner, one of them. They have numerous around here. So what's happened in the last couple of minutes is they brought in that second excavator, and the cadaver dog was taken out of their vehicle in the last 15 minutes or so, and has been going all throughout the property in this particular area where they've been digging. Now, the cadaver dog was out here earlier today, and it's been around, but it's in the last 15 minutes we've seen the dog out and being very active. They're focusing on a second hole that they've been digging with that second excavator that's been going. It's been here for the last 30 minutes or so, but this is the most active we have seen the scene this morning, and the dog was out. You've seen even some of the investigators put their gloves on, and they didn't have their gloves on 20 to 30 minutes ago. They have some shovels out now. I've seen a rake out there, and it appears that they're really meticulous in one particular area right now. This is part of a search warrant that Michigan State Police have been doing for the last couple of days. We've seen dive teams. We've seen some walking through wooded areas and fields. But this is the first dig that has happened as part of that search, and this is the most active it has been. Police out here are not telling us what exactly brought them here today and why in particular they're digging today, which you probably would expect in an active investigation like this. But again, this is the most active, Josh, that we have seen it, and the dog is out. The dog is doing its thing, and you see investigators kind of huddled a little bit over in one area near one of the piles that they have been digging out today. And this is the second excavator that is part of that operation that we have seen. When we got here at about 10:30, there was only one. A second one has since come, and actually it's kind of behind the background here that a couple of the police vehicles have now blocked this part of Paragon Road off of Wismer Highway to traffic, and that might be just a safety precaution, but it was not like that when we got up here earlier today, so things do seem to be intensifying, Josh.
And Sean, is this the same exact area where they were searching 2 days ago? This is now day 3 that they've been up there on the property. Is this the same exact area, or are they in a little bit of a different spot?
They are in a different spot, yeah, a different spot today, and this is the first digging that they've been doing. Investigators have been throughout the county in different parts of it. I've been talking to family friends, and they say the Warners own a lot of property throughout this area, so there's a lot. If they're thinking particularly about looking at their property, there's a lot to work with, but these are different areas. There's not as much water around here to search as with the dive teams that we saw a couple of days ago, but this, we are told, is their property. This particular part, again, there's a lot of it, but this one is their property, and the dog continues to do its work. This is more on the outside now of the pile that the dog is walking around on. But we actually saw, you might have seen in our noon broadcast, that they actually had the dog up on the pile looking around as well. So I think it is very, very safe to call this an active scene.
On Tuesday, they were out searching in drain culverts. They were looking around with their wetsuits, and like you can see here, a little bit of a different picture. That's a lot of dirt that they have dug up there, Sean, and I know you haven't been able to speak to anybody officially to see what they're doing here or how much they're digging up, but could you give us a sense of how much land they have actually dug up? Do you get an idea of how much they have gone through there?
I'd say this area is probably no more than 20 or 30 yards wide. We did use an aerial shot earlier today, so I don't know how deep they are. I haven't exactly seen that, but they're getting in there pretty deep. It's not I'd say 30 to 40 yards, if I were to say, in a square area. There's some trees, debris, looks like some garbage. I think there's a beat-up pickup truck on the other side here, and I don't know if that's a still active kind of grain silo looking operation there, but it's not a huge area, and as you can see from the video here, it's right off the road. We're pretty close to it. And obviously we're not on the scene, but we got our feet planted on the road here, and it's right in the public's eye here. And there's a couple of people that are connected to Dee that we know that are out here watching things and seeing what's going on. But yeah, it's not a huge area. Now, where the dig will go after this, it looks like they're working on two particular piles. If their information or the dogs or anything they find lead them around, I'd imagine they expand it. But these two piles next to each other, I'd say no more than 30 or 40 yards are out here is where the focus is right now.
A Michigan State Police spokesperson told us Tuesday they were working on some tips that they had received in connection to Dee Warner's disappearance. And if you're unfamiliar with the case, the Lenawee County mother was 52 years old when she was reported missing in April 2021. Sean, you've been in contact with the representatives of her family and family members. What have they been telling you over the past couple of days as this search has really ramped up?
They've not been told a lot of information. I think more than anything else, they're running into these investigators and they're being tipped off themselves and then coming out here and finding out. I don't think there's any sort of straight pipeline from police to some of her supporters. They're just stumbling into it and seeing it and knowing what's going on. I think there's a sense from some people that they're hopeful that something will come of it. So they just want some information. They want some answers. They want some closure on where Dee is and what exactly has happened. So I think more, obviously there's frustration, but some things are happening here, and maybe it gets some people some answers.
Well, we'll continue to follow these pictures throughout the day as we try to wait for answers of our own. 13 ABC's Sean Haggerty reporting live there from Lenawee County. He'll be back with a live report on Action News at 12:30 as the dogs continue to do their work and the state police investigators and other authorities are there on that farm, the property, the field owned by Dee and her husband, Dale Warner. That's going to conclude this special report on Action News Now. I'm Josh Krupp for Sean Haggerty. We'll see you back on TV on Action News at 12:30 for another live update.